and I come at you, you better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. I'm telling you.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, the WBC just put Gennady Golovkin in a horrible position because it was just reported today that the WBC just granted Canelo Alvarez a voluntary defense while mandating Golovkin face Jermall Charlo to get Canelo Alvarez next. Wow. Granted, Gennady Golovkin takes that fight, which I strongly believe he does anything he can to avoid a fight with Jermall Charlo. Matter of fact, I remember way before Golovkin fought Canelo in the rematch, I interviewed Golovkin's trainer, Abel Sanchez, and I asked him, I said, so what if the WBC forces you guys to face Charlo or give up the belt? And he kept saying how they didn't think that Charlo deserved the shot, etc., etc. And once again, I pressed him on a question. What if the WBC orders it? Either you face him or you give up the belt. That's when Abel Sanchez, he finally said, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Well, Abel, you guys are there. You guys are standing right in front of that bridge right now. So are you going to cross that bridge is the question. And I truly believe that if that Jermall Charlo bridge was a way for Golovkin to get home because he was stuck on some island and the only way he could get home was crossing that bridge, I truly believe Gennady Golovkin, he would rather stay stranded on that island than cross that damn Charlo bridge. So in other words, I don't believe that Gennady Golovkin will face Charlo. I hope I'm dead wrong because I really, really want to see this fight. But we already know Gennady Golovkin's history, we know his track record, and we know that if Gennady Golovkin is willing to give up his belt to avoid Darren Yevchenko, who only had 12 fights, but he had a hell of a reputation in the amateurs because he was an Olympian just like Gennady Golovkin. If Golovkin, that is, was willing to give up his belt when his dream was to unify all of the belts, if he did that for Sergey, then it is highly unlikely that he would get in the ring with Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo would beat Gennady Golovkin. The only question is, can he knock out Gennady Golovkin? And after watching what Canelo Alvarez did to Golovkin, I believe Charlo would definitely knock him out. Golovkin showed that not only is he weak on the inside, but he can also just be backed up with headshots or body shots. And Charlo can control you with his jab. He has the reach, he has the height, he can fight on the inside, he can fight on the outside. He would just be a nightmare of an opponent for Gennady Golovkin. But now that I think about it, almost any of the top 5 middleweights would be nightmares for Gennady Golovkin. And it has nothing to do with his age. Once again, that if you put Golovkin in the ring right now against Dominic Wade, against Vanes Martirosyan, we're going to see the Terminator all over again. It's only when Golovkin steps in the ring with top-level opposition that he goes from Triple G to Little G. Because Triple G is the man that gets the vicious knockouts, who's foaming at the mouth. Little G is the man that's backing up against the smaller Canelo Alvarez. The same Canelo Alvarez that Floyd Mayweather backed up when Floyd was much smaller. So guys, I love this move by the WBC because once again, if the fighters are not going to do the right thing and face the best competition, then someone else needs to step in and force them to do the right thing. Guys, Gennady Golovkin is in a horrible situation because his gamble was to avoid the best competition, try to cash out by beating Canelo Alvarez and basically saying, well, I fought Canelo and I knocked him out or I beat him. Obviously, that was the plan. That's what he envisioned Gennady Golovkin did. But what he did not anticipate was for the WBC to throw him a curveball by forcing him to face the man he never wanted to face, the very dangerous young lions only, Jermall Charlo, just to get a third match with Canelo Alvarez. So what does Golovkin do in this situation? If Golovkin retires, he retires getting defeated by a smaller Canelo Alvarez that backed him up. And just as Jim Lampley put it, HBO's Jim Lampley put it, if he were to lose to Canelo, his entire career will be looked at as a failure. So what does Gennady Golovkin do? Does he retire as the most overrated fighter of this generation, with his career ending in a failure? Or does he seek greatness, go in there, beat Jermall Charlo, and then beat Canelo Alvarez decisively in the third match? I know you guys are saying, boy, you talking fairy tale. And you absolutely right. Because in order for Golovkin to pull that off, it would damn near be a fairy tale, or have to be a fairy tale. There's no way he's going to beat Jermall Charlo and then beat Canelo Alvarez decisively. It's not going to happen. And my money, once again, is on Golovkin completely avoiding the Charlo fight, even if he wanted the Canelo Alvarez fight. But realistically, Golovkin hasn't came out. He hasn't said anything about wanting a third match with Canelo Alvarez. I told you guys after that fight, we really don't even know if he wants that fight, because Canelo Alvarez came close to knocking out Gennady Golovkin as far as I'm concerned. If Canelo Alvarez can back up Gennady Golovkin the way he did when he was smaller than Golovkin, there's a very good chance that Canelo can also knock out Golovkin in a rematch. And I think that Golovkin is aware of this. So there's a very good chance that Golovkin may not even want that fight. What does he do from this point on? You know, I'll close out with saying this. Do you guys notice, even the fans that praise Gennady Golovkin and they go to bat for him, they'll do anything to defend his honor. But yet these are the same fans that don't even have confidence in their favorite fighter when it comes to Golovkin possibly beating a Jermall Charlo, or beating a Danny Jacobs in a rematch, or beating an Andrade, a BJ Saunders, a Darren Yevchenko, etc., etc., etc. You notice when it comes to me, never do I tell you guys I don't want to see a fighter fight the best opponent available. Never do you hear me make excuses why we don't want to see Mayweather versus Pacquiao. We don't want to see Andre Ward versus Kovalev. We don't want to see Guillermo Rigo versus Lomachenko. You never heard me say I don't want to see these fights. Regardless of who may possibly win the fight, I'm not going to tell you guys I don't want to see the fight. But this is not how the decafs operate or think. And what it implies deep down is even they believe that Gennady Golovkin is overrated. Because you don't hear them complain when Golovkin is facing weak opposition like Vanes Martirosyan. He's not old when he's fighting against Martirosyan. Oh, but he's old when he's fighting against Jermall Charlo, when he's fighting against good competition. You guys are making Gennady Golovkin look even worse, and you don't even realize it. These are the same hypocritical fans that wanted to see a Floyd Mayweather that was close to 40 years old jump up to middleweight and fight Gennady Golovkin. These are the same fans that wanted to see Andre Ward fight against Kovalev. They didn't want him to fight against Golovkin, but they wanted him to move up in weight and fight against Kovalev. But yet these fans, they don't want to see Golovkin fight Charlo, his mandatory. When, once again, these fans were using Golovkin's own excuses, saying the reason why Golovkin didn't fight against Andre Ward was because he wanted to stay at middleweight and unify the belts. But now when it comes to going through Jermall Charlo or going through Darren Yevchenko to keep your belts, Gennady Golovkin doesn't want to unify the belts anymore because the competition has gotten better. If Gennady Golovkin doesn't face Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez in a third match, he will go down as the most overrated fighter of this generation. So once again, look at Gennady Golovkin's options. Does he retire and end his career as a failure? Or does he pursue his career like an older Roberto Duran did when he started to fight young, hungry lions like Davey Moore, Iran Barkley? Because right now, Jermall Charlo would be Gennady Golovkin's Davy Moore or Iran Barkley. But we know it's a serious uphill battle for Golovkin to win that fight. It's a hard knock life for your boy Gennady Golovkin. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
It's a hard knock life for us. Static treated, we get tricked. Static kisses, we get kicked.
Carvel on the beat.